Cool, we are now live. Hi everyone, I'm Imogen from Course Report, and we are a resource for researching which coding bootcamp is right for you. We have a directory of different coding schools, tons of reviews, a blog, and interviews with founders, instructors, and students, all to help you work out which bootcamp you want to go to. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Sean and Simon, who are current students in Thinkful's full-time career path. Thinkful has been offering self-paced online programs for a while, but they just launched this full-time remote program this year. Sean and Simon are going to tell us about their backgrounds, their experiences studying remotely with Thinkful, and show us the Thinkful learning platform. So Sean and Simon, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So I'm interested in your kind of background, careers and education and things, and I was wondering if you could tell me about what you guys were doing before you started Thinkful. Maybe Sean, you could start.
I was a scientist before joining coding industry. Well, I haven't joined the industry yet, but before joining this coding, I have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and a master's degree in material science. So lots of school. I've been in the school for more than probably 6 years, and after school I participated in 3 different researches, one at Arizona State University, one at a local lab, and one in South Korea. So there was lots of moving from lab to lab, and I got to experience what the laboratory life was like. Yeah. So that's the experience I had before learning coding.
Cool. And then what was it that made you want to learn to code?
Well, I was always interested in learning code ever since I was young because my dad worked at Intel. So I had I was just exposed to computers and computer hardware. He would always have like a free computer lying around from his office that he would just bring home, and he just gifted me to mess with it. So I just got toyed around with free computers. So I was always interested in working with computers, but I never really try like making it into my profession until probably last year. Because last year while I was working at lab, I realized, well, my supervisor kind of made me realize, because he was such a brilliant scientist and he had so much passion for science, and he made me realize, okay, I'm probably not going to be as passionate as he is in next 20 or 30 years. I should probably find something that I was always interested in. So that's when I really took the chance to look for something that I always wanted to do. And yeah, I started learning how to code like on the side, like after work, doing Code Academy and Udacity courses, and I just got really interested in it. Yeah.
Awesome, that's so cool. And Simon, what about you? What's your kind of background, and how did you end up learning to code?
I don't think I could be more different. I started out as a musician in my early days. I was a guitarist touring in the UK, and did that through college, through university, and did music. And I sort of tried to be a musician and tried to make that as my living. It didn't work out just for various reasons, just not in the right place at the right time, as all happens to all musicians. And eventually you get older and you decide to do something different. So I kind of bounced around jobs from legal services in the government to banking to pub management. So I did kind of a lot of random sort of bit and bob jobs, really, and never really settled anywhere. So yeah.
Cool, that's so interesting. And then what was it that made you start to want to get into coding?
It was one of them things that I'd just done a lot of, just in my spare time, because I like problem solving. Like I'm a bit of a Rubik's Cube addict. I've got that kind of nerd side to me that I really like. And so I've been a member of Treehouse, which is an online thing, just videos, and I used to do that just for fun. And it's a great resource just for learning bits and bobs. And then I ended up moving out here into San Francisco, and it was just like the best place I could be to do coding. So it was like, well, I enjoy it. Why not see if I can do it for a living? So that's when I started shopping around at courses and ended up on Thinkful.
That's so cool. And I just realized I didn't ask you guys where you both are. Did you say you're in San Francisco, Simon?
Yeah. I am now, yeah. I'm from Leeds originally, but yeah.
Oh, cool.
San Francisco.
And Sean, where are you based?
I'm in Chandler, Arizona right now.
Okay, cool. So are you on a different time zone from?
Yeah, I think I'm on the same time zone with Simon right now. What time is it over there right now?
Well, I'm in New York, so it's 5:45.
No, I'm in Simon. What time is it over there?
Oh, sorry. No, I have no idea. It's 2:45.
Oh, okay. So same time zone.
Okay, cool. And what time zone is the Thinkful program in?
Time zone for Thinkful program. It goes from 7 a.m. in the morning until 2:30 p.m. for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different. I was like on the guinea pig year. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean. So we were like the initial people, and so it was on New York time. So 6 a.m. starts for me in San Francisco.
That's early.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's tougher than me.
You get used to it. You get used to it. It's okay.
So are you guys both dedicating all your time right now to Thinkful, or are you still able to kind of work or have a job?
For me personally, no. Thankfully, I've got a wife that's got a very good job. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. It does take up a lot of your time.
Yeah. And what about you, Sean?
I'm taking pretty much the full day because I just got married.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. 2 months ago, and my wife is still in Korea, and we're sitting on our fiance visa, well, spouse visa. So that takes quite about a time, and then I was thinking of what I could do on my own. You know, I have so much free time, so I decided to do this full-time course. Yeah.
Cool, that's awesome. And we were talking before about other boot camps. I was wondering, what made you guys choose Thinkful over any other programs that you'd come across? Maybe Simon, you can go first.
Sure, yeah. I actually did do another boot camp when I first moved out here 18 months ago. I think I've been out in San Francisco. And I did do a different boot course. I won't name them because it was pretty terrible, to be fair. It was very much it was a very similar concept of online learning where you get a page and this is what you're learning. I had a mentor, but the course content was basically ripped from the documentation of things like Ruby on Rails and all this, and it was just you could have done it on your own. So it was a lot of money, and it nearly put me off going to boot camps completely. So I then just tried to get jobs and things in San Francisco without it. And the reason I settled on Thinkful eventually was that, with a discussion with my wife, we were just like, I still love it. I still want to do it. Maybe there's another course that we can do. Couldn't afford to go to college and do it and go to university and do it, so maybe there's another course. And it was a lot of rooting around, and it was between Thinkful and Block.io, which is a very similar sort of format. And I think the clincher for me for Thinkful was that when I went on there and just, there was like a little box, do you want some questions, and I put my email address, my phone number, and they got back to me instantly. Like instantly. I got a call within half an hour, and I was on the phone call to a guy called Noel, who's like one of the liaisons, and he just ran me through the whole of the course. He was like, well, this would really suit you. We know this would really suit you. And then he put me in touch with somebody else, and it was just kind of this enthusiasm for, we will help you do this, that really sort of made me settle on Thinkful.
Awesome. And yeah, what about you, Sean? What made you choose Thinkful?
Well, originally, to be honest with you, I wanted to join Hack Reactor, which is a very well-known boot camp in San Francisco. I wanted to join Hack Reactor, so I applied for their Hack Reactor remote program because apparently living in San Francisco can be really difficult because the living cost is very high. And then I applied for their remote program in March. It was like a week before getting married, and then they told me I got conditionally accepted. So after marriage, I came back, and they asked me to take their remote prep course, which was 4 weeks long. So I took that from probably April 18 than 4 weeks. Then after 4 weeks, on May 14, I took their second technical interview again, and I did so much better than the first one. So I was quite sure I made it in, and then they told me I did not, and they were telling me, I'm gonna sign you. You were conditionally accepted again. I'm sorry to tell you, but we can't assign you a personal tech coach, one-on-one tech coach. So feel free to reapply about a month later. So I had a lockout period of 1 month, and I was thinking, after 1 month, I can only join next cohort, which starts probably I'm gonna have to wait another couple months, and I was kind of in a time constraint because I know my wife is coming here in probably next 5 months or 6 months, and I wanted to be kind of at least job ready by the time she comes here. I didn't want to study like in a boot camp when she actually moves here. That would be horrible for both of us. So I was thinking about what could I do next, and then like Simon said, I was looking for all other options, and one of my friend who was in the Hack Reactor prep course with me, he recommended Thinkful Full Career Path, and he told me to just reach out to them and mail them, ask them questions, and then like Simon said, they replied within like less than an hour. That's when I realized, okay, I emailed Hack Reactor about my personal tech coach, and it took them 3 weeks to reply, and then Thinkful replied in less than 30 minutes. I was like, okay, this might be a better course for me. So that's why I decided to join Thinkful. Yeah.
Cool, that's great. And it sounds like you both were only looking at online boot camps. Did either of you consider in-person boot camps?
Yeah, I looked at App Academy, which is based out here. I think they're based around and about now, and Dev Bootcamp as well. I think the big off-put was cost, and also that a lot of them in-person boot camps seem to be very Ruby on Rails focused, and I didn't really see a particular. I mean, it's a personal opinion thing, but I really wanted to learn JavaScript more than I just felt it was more the future, if you will. And that Thinkful was very much a JavaScript focused course. So yeah, that kind of put me on towards it as well.
Cool, that makes sense. Yeah. And Sean, did you consider in-person ones?
Yeah, actually, at first I was thinking about on-site program for Hack Reactor. I actually had an argument with a close friend of mine about this. He was telling me, you know what, you should consider on-site over online because you get so much better experience that way. I was thinking, not really, because honestly, you go there, all you do is pretty much pair program day by day, and it's the same thing, same platform for online. And I was thinking, you know what, the whole commute, finding a place to live and the living costs, and then that's gonna be actually bothering the study. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's gonna actually bother me more. It's gonna actually distract me more from studying. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And I was wondering if one of you could tell me about the application process and whether there was an interview or a coding challenge when you were applying for the Thinkful full-time program. Maybe Simon, you can tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it changed because I joined only a little bit before Sean, but there wasn't really a lot. It was a lot of talking about what you want out of the course. You know, we're getting to know the personality rather than your coding ability on the offset. Once that they've settled on the fact that I should probably do the full-time course, there was a 2 weeks of, and it was just basic HTML, CSS, tiny bit of JavaScript, but it was just literally, can you throw some stuff on a page? You know, can you just get something basic up? And that was literally the requirements. I mean, it wasn't necessarily stressful at all. It was just a 2 week. Here's a bit of the course, do it, and that was it. Really, it was more about personality than it was about ability, I think.
Okay. And did you have a similar experience, Sean?
Yeah, actually, mine was even shorter than 2 weeks because I really wanted to join June 6 cohort, and I made a call to Baomik like before the end of May. So it was like, you know what, you have to finish this prerequisite or prep course, which is supposedly lasting two weeks, but you have to finish it in 1 week. So I was like, okay, just hand me over. And he was really nice. Baoming was like, you know what, we really look into personality rather than the actual coding skills. So if you could get this done in a week, which is very plausible, and you have a good chance of entering the full-time course. So yeah, that made it work for me.
That's so cool. And I don't really know much about this Thinkful Full-Time program at all. I've only talked to part-time students before, so I'm really interested in kind of what the actual learning experience is like for this full-time program. Sean, maybe you could start by telling me your experience so far learning through.
So far, we are in week 4 right now. I think Simon's done by now, but we are in week 4 right now. So yeah, week 4. First 2 weeks was kind of easy, I have to say, because it was a lot to do with front end. I had more experience with front end just by taking, Udacity and Codecademy courses. But by the time it hit week 3, it became increasingly difficult because we were learning backend. But at the same time, it was very interesting, and I'm learning so much. It's very fast-paced. So every day, even when the class is over at 2:30, it's not like I can go out, hang out with my friends. You have to really commit to it. You have to treat it like the actual college. In fact, I think I'm studying more than I did in my grad school for the past 4 weeks, which is not a good thing. But so far, it's working out. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, good. And Simon, maybe you can tell me a bit about the kind of structure of the program and how they actually teach you the content.
Sure, yeah. So it's daily. You start off the day with 1 hour with the mentor, which is for me, it was a guy called Joe. I think he's actually teaching you guys as well, Sean. He's basically the guy that wrote the course.
Oh, yeah.
Sit with him for an hour in a big group with I think is there 8 of us still? I can't remember. 1 or 2 dropped out, unfortunately. And you just go over the concept of the day. This is what you're going to be learning. So it's a back-end service, or it's a front-end service, or whatever you're going to be learning for that day. And so you go over the concepts for an hour, and then you go off and pair program. And that's based on a driver navigator concept where somebody codes and the other person finds the information that you're going to need to progress. And then you swap over. And it doesn't always follow that. It's not like a strict rule that has to happen. It's a really good way of doing it, though. And we try to stick to it when we can, but sometimes one person gets the concept better than another. So it's better maybe if someone else drives and they code it. The actual physical action of doing it helps it go in your head. And so you do that for a few hours and you break for lunch for an hour. And then you come back, another hour session, going over how is everybody done, show all your work, let's have a look. Doesn't matter if you don't got it, if you don't got it, great English. It doesn't matter if you don't get it. It doesn't matter if it's totally wrong. That's they kind of want you to get it a little wrong. They want to go over things with you again and again, and it's kind of that repetition. And then it's back into it in the afternoon, and you keep going and going. And then at the end of the day, what is it, like 2:30 at that point? There's evening exercises. There's a daily sort of reflection that you submit. So you say how you've been doing for the day, any comments on ways they can improve. And in fact, there's been a couple of times, because we were the first cohort, 1 or 2 of us would say, well, maybe this would be better, maybe that would be better, and then they contact you and go, okay, so what about if we did it this way or that way? And so it would improve for the next people that came along. And then you're coding throughout until the end of the day, end of the working day, maybe even longer into the evening, and then it's just that day in, day out. It's pretty intense. It's good fun, though.
Wow, that's cool. So you have, did you say you have a cohort of 6 people that you're going through it with?
Yeah, I think it's 6 now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so when you have that mentor time in the morning, is your mentor kind of talking to all 6 of you at the same time?
Yes. Well, I forgot about the evening call with the one-on-one mentor. So that can vary in time as well. Mine personally is straight after at 2:30. So when the day has ended, I'm then in a one-on-one call with my mentor, going over again today's topics, ways you can advance, other things to read, And that's a wonderful thing to happen as well. But yes, it's with the workshops in the morning and the afternoon there with the group.
Okay, and then you're pairing with other class members.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And Sean, how many people have you got in your cohort?
We originally started 8, and I think one of our classmates dropped out due to like his personal family issues. So right now we have seven classmates. Okay. So we're kind of paired, like 2 groups of 2s and 1 group of 3, and we're like switching back and forth. So we get to experience what it's like working with, pair, like another partner, and working in a groups of 3. So yeah, but exactly what Simon said, pretty much the same format. Yeah.
Okay, and do you know where your other cohort members are from? Are they from all different parts of the States or from other countries?
I think most of them are from East Coast, because I'm the only one with this sleeping issue. I have to get up like 6 a.m. in the morning just to enter the classroom, and then everyone else is like all fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
what
I'm
about
the
you?
only one from West Coast. Yeah.
And Simon, are your classmates all over the place, or?
Yeah, we've got 4 in the Bay Area, so we're the ones that are up at 5 in the morning, start at 6. Yeah, that's hell. But we all get to moan about it together, which is great fun. We've got another guy in, I think, Georgia or somewhere around there, and then 1 person in LA and another in New York.
Oh, cool. Well, that's interesting. That sounds awesome. And you're kind of getting to know your classmates quite well?
Yeah, we actually meet up every now and again. They encourage you, like throughout the course, to go to meetups and go to talks and things. So I've been with a couple of the Bay Area people that are on the course, and we just meet up and we go to these talks and we go and meet people. Yeah, so we all hang out and things. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds really different from the Thinkful part-time program, because in that one, I think they mainly just communicate with the mentors and not as often with other students. So that's cool, you're getting to know people. Cool, all right, well, I think we're ready to do the screen share. So Sean, maybe you can share your screen with us and show us what the Thinkful platform looks like.
Okay, so this is the dashboard. Okay, let me show you again. This is the dashboard, and these were the pre-course material that we had to finish before starting day 1. Mm-hmm. So pretty much self-explanatory. It explains who's your pair for today, and this is the. Do you mind if I like jump into the room workshop and show you how it's going? Okay. So this is what workshop looks like. There's gonna be like an instructor here with 7 other students, and he pretty much explains going through his PowerPoint slide. Let me show you the presentation slides.
Oh, cool. And so when you're in that kind of video room, can you see the other students as well, or just your instructor?
I can see other students as well, and they get to share. It's kind of exactly like Google Hangout. Mm-hmm. Individuals can share their own screen. They can even chat. Post links and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
So usually instructor will first go over like yesterday's questions, like evening questions, and go over how everybody did previous project. We'll have like a little short presentation period where each group present their project for 2 to 3 minutes, and after that, instructor will kind of go through his presentation slides, explaining what today's projects like for this one is building a Street Fighter using a jQuery, events and callbacks.
Awesome.
Yeah, so very cool.
Oh,
little videos there too, play, and then.
Oh yeah.
I think Joe designed this, right? Yeah, I think Joe designed this whole course, so it's very well written.
Cool. And so with that slideshow, do you go through that at your own pace, or does the mentor present that to you? Mentor
present that to you, but he goes in a really, really slow pace.
Oh, cool. And you can obviously...
every slide he's like, do you guys understand everything up to this point? Mm-hmm. And we get questions thrown back and forth, so it's really helpful. Yeah.
And then you can obviously go back and look at it in your own time as well if you want.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a video recording format. I don't think that the actual instructor lectures are video recorded. Yeah.
But you can still look at the slides.
Yeah, I can still look at the slides.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then how do you kind of, is there a way to kind of see your progress and how far through the program you are?
Okay, let me show you projects. Okay. This is what I've done past 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So I have been nicely organized. So the first 2 weeks was mostly, no, this is a project to show. Where's API hack? Yeah, so something like that. We were working on just front-end projects and just
Oh, cool. So this
each
is in your
projects are just daily based. Yeah, and for our third and fourth week, we were working on spec end. So right now we are working with Mongo database, Mongoose, and building a server, building a virtual client, all that fun stuff. I don't have a firm grasp of it yet because it's been only a week.
Right, that makes sense. Cool. That's really cool to see the projects you're working on. And if we go back to the dashboard again, maybe you can just, like, over here it's got the calendar. So, so what happens when you click on these?
Okay, so on Thursday, if I click on it, it straightly moves down to the week 2 Thursday, and then it shows you the, like, today's schedule. I can always go back and check the presentation slides.
Wow.
And we also have a daily reflection that we can click on. This needs to be turned on every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Basically, you write about what you learned today, give your feedback to the course, give constructive feedback for your pair as well. So we improve as a group. I think that's the whole goal of the course.
That's awesome. Very cool. And so they basically have every single day completely planned out.
Every single day completely planned out. Yeah.
That's really
right now it's not. They're not showing week 6 yet because we're not there yet. But usually when you're like a week away from it, this week 6 menu will pop out, and you get to have access to future materials. And you can click ahead and then, like a study ahead during weekend and stuff.
Cool. Yeah. And then, and so down here you've got the evening reading. Are these kind of links for websites that you need to look at?
Yes. This is mostly for tomorrow's project. Oh, this one's like external links. But like for yesterday or Tuesday, yeah. Is it? I'm clicking all the ones without the evening. Okay. Okay, like for this one, for week 3, Wednesday, they're telling you to read the lesson introduction and intro to REST and CRUD. You click that, it's basically the next day's project.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get to read ahead, prepare for the next day project.
Oh, awesome. So this is what it looks like when you're in a project.
Yes.
Okay. And you've got all the different steps on the on the left-hand side there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy to navigate. In fact, I like bookmarked every single one of them.
Oh, wow. Very organized.
Yeah, very organized.
And so the ones here that don't have ticks next to them, are these the ones that you haven't completed yet?
Oh, these ones are not checked because you're supposed to submit your project, but we're doing that on GitHub anyways. So yeah, I just prefer not to submit here. Yeah.
Okay.
Our course instructors would like us to work with GitHub more than the actual course website, because that's more that prepares you for the industry better.
Right. So that's where you're kind of deploying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And
yeah, I can even show you my GitHub account.
Okay.
If you don't mind. I have so far 34 repositories that I've worked with over a course of 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably show you one of my just. Do you mind if I show you one of my project?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm big fan of soccer, so I I decided to make a soccer hub using the API.
That's awesome.
Soccer API. You can search for any leagues here. Let's search for Premier League. Diamond.
So cool.
I can click. It shows you the entire league table, the crest, and I can click on any team. Okay, Chester City. It shows you like a player stats.
Wow.
Highlights. You can click on these YouTube videos. It'll play right away.
That's awesome.
So it was very fun making this.
So when did you make this?
That was the end of the front end project. So it took me a day and a half to make this.
Okay, wow, that was fast. And at what point in the program was this?
At what point in the program? So end of second week.
Wow, that's impressive. You can do that much.
End of second week Thursday. Yeah.
Very cool. Well done.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Now I think you guys both mentioned that you've done some other learning before you decided to join Thinkful, and I'm interested to know how you're finding this kind of learning style different from some of the free online resources like Code Academy.
It's the structure, I think, that sort of really helps, and the fact that, I mean, things like Code Academy. I mean, I still occasionally refer to like Code Academy and Treehouse. I still subscribe to Treehouse and use some of their videos. But it's the structure of Thinkful that really sort of makes it better. Like, you've got one-on-one tutors, like you've got it all the time, and then you've got your friends in the cohort that you can refer to them whenever you use this before. Do you know anything about this? And you constantly bounce and use Slack, obviously, just to communicate with everyone. So I think the idea that you're not alone, I think, is quite a nice little thing. Even though I'm just constantly sat in my little studio flat the entire time, you don't feel alone with it. Like with something like Code Academy and Treehouse, if you don't quite get the concept and you're not getting it from what's written on the screen, you kind of then got to start looking things up again. You've got to like go further and beyond, which isn't a bad thing, but this way you just don't have to. You've got people there like straight away that can just answer your questions.
That's really cool. And have you had a similar experience, Sean?
Yeah, I took Code Academy, a little bit of Code School, and Udacity, and the reason why I decided to join a bootcamp is probably the security and the network. Security meaning that this is probably a really bad mindset. I don't want to recommend to anybody else who's looking for a bootcamp, but I feel like the more you pay, the more you're dedicated. That's just me. When I usually dedicate myself when I make that payment commitment. So I made that $12,000 to Thinkful, and it's a full-time course. I'm committed to it 100%. I got multiple TAs helping me out, mentors, and I got this network of developers that I can Slack to on our Slack. So that provided me more security in terms of, okay, I could probably get a job after this bootcamp. Instead of, when I was doing the Udacity 6 months course, I was like thinking, you know what? I might not get a job after this Udacity course or 4 months of Code Academy. This is probably just for me to get a glimpse of what coding's like.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I've still got a couple more questions, but if you like, we can stop screen sharing and just talk about the last couple ones. Yeah, I was interested in like when you both expect to graduate from this program.
I don't remember the date, I'll be honest. From speaking with Bomik, who's sort of the course organizer, you don't, like a graduation thing is kind of a vague term within Thinkful because you don't necessarily graduate until they get you a job, is the way that Bomik explained it to me. Like they will just, you will be with them continuously until they get you into a job. And so like a term of graduation kind of didn't almost apply in that respect. I think the course content will finish, I've got another month or 2 months, so it's 4 weeks, it's 4 months in total, so I've got another month, I think. Days go by like a blur at the moment, so I keep forgetting where I am. But yeah, so I mean, even once the course content's finished, you're working with their career guys who have already spoken to on multiple occasions. And you're constantly working with them from that point, saying, well, you can learn, like, you might need to learn this framework, you might need to learn this like extra little bit. And so you're learning on the side, and then they're constantly trying to get you jobs, and you're constantly applying. So graduation is when I get a job.
Awesome. And have they started like doing job preparation stuff with you, or do you know what sort of job preparation stuff they're going to be giving you?
Yeah, they've done quite a lot with me personally. I don't think Sean would have like really come onto this yet. I'm not sure. I think you've got a couple of weeks before they start sort of throwing this at you. So they get you into yeah, they get you sort of a level where you're more comfortable learning the concepts. And then they throw in this extra bit of like updating your CV and getting all this. So then you send them your CV, your GitHub repo, and all the other extra bits and bobs, any work that you've done, a portfolio site. And then they come back to you and you have like an hour-long meeting with their head of educator, what are they called? Head of placement, I think it was. And he talks you through all the stuff that you're going to need to do. And he gets to know you like personally and goes, right, well, you've got this kind of personality, you need to go and do that. Or you need to improve on that. And ways to improve your CV, so it's all that kind of, it's quite intense actually, like all the things you need to do to sort of get ahead. And they're very, blunt's the wrong word, they're very open about what you're going to need to do. Like they don't put nice fancy words on there, they're like, right, you need to do that, you need to get that done, this all needs to happen. And they've already put me in touch with a few people like in the city that I can speak to, so there's like a couple of additional people that actually work in the city that I've been in touch with, and they're saying, do this, do that, and so it's constantly in the background as you're learning more code.
Wow, that's so cool. And yeah, what I'm interested in what both of your plans are when you graduate. Sean, what kind of job are you hoping to get when you graduate?
Oh, wow. That's a difficult question. I haven't really thought about that yet because I don't know much about coding at this point. I'm not really confident about thinking of what type of coding job I'm looking for, but when you start the course, your one-on-one mentor goes with your background and tries to figure out what job might be suitable for you after 4 months. And he was explaining to me something like, you know, you've studied science for 6 to 8 years. It's probably not wise to give up all that field and just jump straight into the coding world, because he told me you probably want to look at like a data science because that's pretty popular nowadays. So don't give up on your science. That's what he told me. Yeah, you could probably work things out at the end of the full-time career path. Yeah.
That's cool. And Simon, do you have anything in mind about what sort of job you'd like to get?
I don't specifically. I'm very much focused towards more front-end things, and the course is kind of front-end focused, but there's enough back-end in there to make you dangerous, I think, enough to get you through interviews. Like interview prep is like whiteboarding like algorithms out. So we did 2 weeks on that. But I'm still more of a front-end kind of person. So anything, I think I don't want to be unrealistic and say, right, so I'm going to be knocking on Google's door. Like, what I've done here, it's not going to happen. But a lot of the startups in the area are looking for the exact kind of things that these are teaching, React and things like that, exactly them kind of frameworks. So realistically, probably somewhere in a startup, sort of maybe a mid-level company, not overly fussed on the content just because I just want to code now. At the end of the day, I just enjoy doing that.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So exciting. Cool, awesome. Well, we're up to my last question now. I was wondering what sort of advice you guys have for people who are considering an online bootcamp. Like what you might have done differently in hindsight. Sean, do you have any advice?
Well, first of all, read a lot of course report reviews. I've probably read about, I don't know, more than 100 of those before deciding which bootcamp is right. But bottom line is, it's really up to you, I think. If they say, you know what, Block is better, or Thinkful is better, Hack Reactor is better, it's really about which bootcamp fits you. So really think about your current situation, think about your finances. If you have some kind of time constraint like I do, then consider that, and think about your just like a learning habits, like at which environment do you learn better, on-site and online. Just really consider every single point and figure out which good bootcamp is best for you. Just don't listen to other people saying that. That kind of contradicts my first point, saying that you should read out a course report. But I'm saying just gather up every information and then make the decision. Yeah.
That's really good advice. And what about you, Simon? Do you have some advice?
Be prepared to work a lot if you're going to do one of these full times. If you have the financial ability to be able to not work, then it's recommended. Actually, a girl on our course, she had a part-time job going at the same time as this, and she had to give it up. She couldn't keep it going. So it would be prepared to put the time in. And I think if you want to prepare ahead of time, if you definitely want to do a boot camp, use things like Code Academy and other online resources. And I mean, I can't recommend Treehouse enough. I'm not paid by them, I swear. Something like that is just really going to put you ahead and sort of set you up. Even if it's just the basic front end things, like you skim over that. Skim's the wrong word, but you get through that front end thing so quickly. It's like a whirlwind when you start going. So yeah, just go through what you can, and if you really love it, just do it. It's totally worth it.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome advice. That's really cool. Awesome. Well, this has been a really great chat with you guys. Thank you so much. And good luck to both of you with finishing the course. And I hope you both find awesome jobs that you really love. Yeah, and so thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.